They don't envy you. They envy the fact that no matter how much they steal from you, they still remain empty-handed. They didn't just watch you, they studied you. They mimicked your walk, your talk, your essence, thinking they could duplicate what only God designed. But there's one thing they never understood. You can steal the blueprint, but without the architect, the structure will never stand. They see your glow and assume it's just a trick of the light. But what they fail to realize is that your shine comes from fire. Fire that refined you, burned away the weak parts, and made you untouchable. They can fake the image, but they will never carry the spirit. And that's what haunts them. Let's be real. These frauds don't want to celebrate you. They want to replace you. They wanted your crown, but skipped the suffering. They wanted your throne, but dodged the trials. They thought they could copy-paste their way into greatness. But what took you years of pain, sacrifice, and wisdom to build cannot be duplicated overnight. And now, they're frustrated. They wear your style like a cheap costume, hoping no one notices the fraud behind the mask. But people know, energy never lies. If this is hitting your soul, if you know exactly who I'm talking about, take a second right now, smash that like button, subscribe, and drop 99 in the comments. When you react, it signals to YouTube that more chosen ones need to hear this. This isn't just a message, it's a movement. And every chosen one who finds this video is part of something bigger than they even realize. So let's make sure they see it. Listen, the power of being chosen is both a blessing and a curse to those who can't handle it. Your presence alone shifts atmospheres, changes the energy in a room, forces people to look at themselves, and that terrifies them. Because standing next to you means standing next to truth. Your confidence reminds them of their self-doubt. Your success exposes their stagnation. Your glow makes their darkness unbearable. They don't hate you for who you are, they hate you for who they can't be. And that's what eats at them. Every night, every quiet moment, every time they scroll past your name, regret whispers in their ear. They thought they could outshine you, but you were never competing. They thought they could erase you, but you were never temporary. They thought they could replace you, but there is only one original, and the fakes will always fade. The truth is, they don't want to be you. They want your results without your struggle. They want to walk your path without earning the steps. But being chosen is not a title you can claim. It's a burden you must carry, and that's why they'll never catch up. Because while they're busy watching you, you're already on the next level. So let them try. Let them imitate. Let them waste their time chasing your reflection while you move forward in reality. Because at the end of the day, you were built different. You were designed to lead. You were never meant to fit in with them, because you were always destined to stand apart. And thank you, yes, you, the chosen one. Whether this is your first time here or you've been standing strong with this movement, your presence and super gifts are the force pushing this mission forward. Your glow, your power, and your resilience are the very things that set you apart. And that's why they try so hard to be you. But no matter how much they imitate, they can never duplicate divine design. If you're ready to claim your power, embrace your uniqueness, and stay 10 steps ahead of those who thought they could replace you, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments. Because every time you react, you're making sure that more chosen ones get this message. This isn't just a video, it's a movement. And now, let's break it all down piece by piece. Let's get started. Number 1, they're copying the blueprints, but they can't build the castle. You can steal the map, but you'll never reach the destination if you weren't meant for the journey. They watch you, stalk you, take notes like devoted students, but no matter how many pieces they copy, they will never put the puzzle together like you do. Because the truth is, they don't have the hands to hold what you carry. They don't have the discipline, the vision, or the endurance to walk your path. They only see the surface, the results, the shine. But they never saw the war it took to get here. And now they're frustrated, because no matter how much they mimic, they still remain in your shadow. They thought it would be easy, thought they could wear your style like a costume, repeat your words like a script, mirror your grind like a formula. But greatness isn't something you imitate, it's something you are forged into. And you weren't just built, you were broken, reshaped, and transformed into something divine. While they were chasing shortcuts, you were mastering the process. While they were watching you, you were putting in the work. While they were plotting how to take your place, you were already creating something new. And now, they're stuck, confused, frustrated. Because they copied the blueprints but forgot one crucial detail. They don't have the foundation. They wanted to build a castle, but they're standing on sand. They wanted your throne, but crowns are heavy, and weak necks can't hold them. They thought they could take your spot, but you were never in competition, because your only rival is who you were yesterday. Think about this. How many times have we seen it? People trying to duplicate greatness but failing because they lack the essence. Look at the legends. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Beyoncé, Elon Musk. Their imitators studied them religiously, copied their moves, tried to match their energy, but not a single one became them. Because it wasn't just their skill, it was their spirit. It wasn't just their talent, it was the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the battles, the mindset. They didn't just play the game, they became the game. And that's what these frauds will never understand. Now, some of you might be wondering, why do they even try? Why do people who hated you, who doubted you, who wished for your downfall, turn around and try to be you? It's simple. They never hated you. They hated the fact that you had something they didn't. Confidence, authenticity, a sense of purpose. They spent their lives blending in, playing small, chasing trends, following the crowd. But then they saw you, unapologetic, bold, untouchable, and it burned them, because you remind them of everything they are not. So they tried to take the easy route. They thought stealing your blueprint would give them the same outcome. But here's what they forgot. You are the blueprint. Your essence can't be duplicated. Your vision can't be taught. Your power can't be transferred. You were chosen, and chosen ones can't be cloned. And that's the part that keeps them up at night. Because they see you rising, they see you winning, they see you stepping into something greater, and they can't follow you there. They are stuck in imitation mode. While you are in creation mode, they are playing catch-up, while you are already setting the next trend. And that's why no matter how hard they try, they will always be one step behind. It's time to embrace this. Stop looking over your shoulder. Stop wondering why they're watching you. Stop worrying about copycats. Because while they're wasting time trying to be you, you're too busy evolving into someone even greater. They don't realize it yet, but by the time they think they've figured you out, you've already reinvented yourself again. This is the power of being chosen. This is why you can never be replaced. They thought stealing your blueprints would make them your equal, but they forgot that only the architect knows how to truly build. And you're still creating, still expanding, still moving, while they're stuck trying to understand what you already left behind. So let them try, let them watch, let them steal, because they'll never make it past the front gates. And you were never meant to live in imitation. You were meant to rule in originality. If this is speaking to your soul, if you know exactly who I'm talking about, drop 99 in the comments, smash that like button, and make sure every chosen one sees this. Because this isn't just a message, it's a movement. And now, let's keep going, because we're just getting started. Number 2, they thought they could steal your spotlight. Now they're stuck in the shadows. A thief can wear the crown, but the weight will break their neck. They thought robbing you of your credit, stealing your shine, and standing in your light would make them great. They thought if they talked like you, moved like you, even dressed like you, people would mistake them for the real thing. But no matter how many masks they put on, authenticity cannot be counterfeited. They stood in your spotlight for a moment, but now they're drowning in the darkness of their own fraud. Because a throne borrowed through deceit will always collapse beneath the weight of truth. They thought your success was a costume they could wear, but what they didn't realize is your glow isn't something you put on, it's something you are. You shine because you put in the work, because you carry a divine light that cannot be dimmed, because you've walked through fire and came out untouchable. Meanwhile, they thought they could cheat their way to greatness, but now they're learning the hard way. Light stolen is light that never lasts. Look around. How many times have we seen it? Wannabes trying to outshine the original. Look at history. Elvis copied black artists, but never became one of them. Imitators tried to steal Michael Jackson's style, but none of them became the king of pop. They tried to walk like Muhammad Ali, but never held his crown. Because the truth is, you don't become great by stealing, you become great by being. And that's what they never understood. Now, some of you might be asking, how did they even get away with it in the first place? Why did people fall for their act? Why did they get a chance to sit in your seat? Simple. Sometimes the world is blind for a season, but truth always exposes itself. They might have fooled some people for a while, but time is the ultimate judge. A shadow can mimic your shape, but it will never carry your essence. And now their moment is over, and they are left standing in the emptiness of their own deception. See, you didn't just earn your place, you became it. You built your name, your presence, your energy through grit, sacrifice, and authenticity. You didn't cut corners, you didn't fake it, you didn't sell your soul for applause. And now, that's why you're still shining, while they fade into irrelevance. They don't get it. They thought taking credit for your work would make them you, but stolen gold always turns to dust. And that's why they're bitter. Because despite everything they stole, they still feel empty. They wore your image, but it never fit. They spoke your words, but the power wasn't there. They stood in your light, but it never warmed them, because the glow wasn't meant for them. They wanted to be you, but they didn't want to pay the price you paid. And now, they're paying the price of their own deception. Have you ever noticed that fakes always fall apart under pressure? The moment they have to stand alone, they crumble, because their foundation was built on fraud. They copied you, but they didn't have your resilience. They took your credit, but they didn't have your creativity. They claimed your work, but they didn't have your vision. That's why they couldn't hold on to it. Because what you built, they tried to steal, and destiny does not bless thieves. And now, the same spotlight they craved is exposing them. Their fraud, their desperation, their lack of originality, it's all coming to light. And what are they left with? A reputation built on lies. People are waking up, realizing they were nothing but a shadow pretending to be the sun. And now, that spotlight they stole is too hot for them to handle. So let them sit in the shadows. Let them watch as you keep rising, untouchable, unstoppable, undeniable. They wanted your light, but they never had the fire to sustain it. And you were never meant to share a stage with frauds. You were meant to stand alone, blazing like the sun, while the counterfeits melt under their own deception. If you feel this, if you know you are the real deal, drop 99 in the comments. Smash that like button and let them know the chosen ones don't compete with shadows. And now, let's keep going, because we're only getting started. Number 4. They thought they could walk your path. Now they're lost in the wilderness. They reached for your crown, but their hands weren't built to carry the weight. They didn't want to build their own legacy. They wanted to steal yours. They saw the kingdom you created, the empire you built, the respect you commanded, and instead of learning from you, instead of grinding like you, instead of putting in the work, they plotted to dethrone you. They whispered behind closed doors. They threw dirt on your name. They tried to gather forces against you, thinking that if they could knock you down, they could take your place. But here's the truth: a throne is not taken, it's earned. And no matter how much they scheme, how much they sabotage, how much they pretend, they will never rule a kingdom they didn't build. Because while they were too busy fighting for your spot, they forgot to build themselves. They thought tearing you down would somehow lift them up, but all they've done is expose their own weakness. They tried to sit in your seat, wear your crown, claim your victories as their own, but their foundation was never solid. The moment they thought they won, the moment they thought they had you cornered, their so-called kingdom started falling apart. Because you can't build an empire on stolen bricks. You can't lead when you've never learned how to follow. You can't inherit a kingdom when you've never learned how to serve. Look at history. Judas betrayed Jesus, but he never got the legacy. Brutus stabbed Caesar, but he never took the throne. How many times have we seen this? Snakes move in silence, but they always choke on their own venom. They wanted your power, but they didn't want your pain. They wanted your rewards, but not your responsibilities. They wanted the title, but not the discipline that comes with it. And now they're sitting on ruins, watching from the sidelines, realizing too late that they never had what it took. At this point, you might be wondering, why did they even think they could replace me? Because they mistook your humility for weakness. They saw your grace, your patience, your loyalty, and assumed you were naive. They assumed you didn't see their schemes. They thought you were just lucky, that if they took what was yours, they could have the same success. But they never understood that what you built wasn't just made of material things. It was made of discipline, sacrifice, faith, and divine favor. And those are things that can't be stolen. A thief can take your crown, but they can't take your wisdom. They can claim your spot, but they will never carry your spirit. That's why everything they tried to build is now crumbling in their hands. And here's the part that haunts them the most. You never needed them, but they needed you. You weren't just someone sitting on a throne. You were the foundation holding everything together. You were the one with the vision, the discipline, the strategy. You were the one who made things work while they just took up space. They thought they could replace you, but now they realize you were never just sitting on the throne. You were the reason there was a throne in the first place. And now they're stuck in a world they don't belong in. They wanted the throne, but they weren't ready for the responsibility. They wanted the title, but they weren't ready for the battle. And while they struggle to hold on to the ruins of their so-called victory, you're still standing strong, untouched, unbothered, unstoppable. Let this be your reminder: no one can take what's truly meant for you. A throne given too soon will destroy the unworthy. A crown stolen will always feel too heavy. And no matter how hard they try to imitate, manipulate, or overthrow, destiny cannot be stolen. What's yours is yours. So let them sit on their pile of pebbles. Let them watch as everything they tried to build without a solid foundation collapses beneath them. Because you're still here, still rising, still thriving. And when they look up, hoping to see you broken, all they'll find is your throne, higher than ever, shining brighter than ever, completely out of their reach. If this spoke to your soul, drop 99 in the comments, smash that like button, and make sure every chosen one hears this. Because this isn't just a message, it's a warning to every fraud who thought they could take what was never theirs. And now, let's keep going, because we're only getting started. Number 5. They wanted to be your reflection, but they're just a distorted image. They tried to copy your glow, but they forgot. Mirrors don't shine on their own. They only reflect light from something greater. They thought they could mirror your energy, your confidence, your success, as if greatness is something you can fake. But what they never understood is that you don't just shine, you radiate from within. They only saw the surface, the way people gravitate toward you, the way doors open when you walk in, the way your name carries weight. And instead of learning from it, instead of growing, they chose the cheap way out. They chose to imitate. But here's the problem. Mirrors can only show an image. They don't have depth, they don't have substance, they don't have power of their own. And that's exactly what these people are. Empty reflections, distorted copies, blurry illusions. They try to talk like you, walk like you, even think like you. But every move they make feels forced. Every word they speak feels hollow. Because while you operate from authenticity, they operate from desperation. While you move with purpose, they move with deceit. It's funny, isn't it? The same people who criticized you, doubted you, mocked you, are now your biggest fans in secret. They watch your every move, refresh your page, study your words like scripture. They don't want to support you, but they need to keep up with you, because if they stop watching, they'll fall even further behind. Look at history. Every great leader, every legend, every game changer has been imitated, but never duplicated. There have been countless wannabe Michael Jacksons, knockoff Marilyn Monroes, copy-paste Steve Jobs, and discount Beyoncés, but legends remain legends, and the imitators always fade. Because what makes them iconic isn't just talent, it's the soul behind it. The late nights, the sacrifices, the heartbreaks, the resilience, the relentless discipline, things you can't fake. And that's why no matter how hard these copycats try, they'll always be a step behind. You move in alignment, they move in confusion. You innovate, they imitate. You lead, they follow. You elevate, they struggle to keep up. And yet, some of you still ask, why? Why do they do it? Why try to be someone they clearly aren't? Because deep down, they don't know who they are. They've spent their whole lives blending in, shape-shifting, molding themselves to fit whatever environment they're in. But then they saw you, unapologetic, bold, untouchable, and it shook them to their core. Because you are everything they pretend to be. They see your confidence and wish they could borrow it. They see your success and hope they can shortcut their way to it. They see your glow and think that if they copy your steps, they'll end up in the same place. But what they don't understand is that your light comes from within. It's not the clothes you wear, the words you say, or the way you carry yourself. It's the soul behind it, the spirit within you, the divine power that no copycat can steal. That's why no matter how hard they try, their energy always feels off. Their smile is forced, their words sound rehearsed, their presence feels unnatural. Because you can mimic a person, but you can't replicate a soul. And that's what eats at them. They look at you, then look at themselves. And they can't stand what they see. They thought copying your shine would make them special, but all it did was expose their emptiness. Because a mirror might show a reflection, but it can't give you identity. And when you have no foundation, no depth, no real self, eventually the cracks begin to show. So let them watch, let them copy, let them steal. They will never be you. Because while they're busy chasing shadows, you're creating legacies. While they're obsessed with your last move, you're already making the next one. And while they're stuck imitating, you're out here innovating. That's the power of being chosen. That's why you can never be replaced. They thought mirroring your image would bring them your success, but they forgot. The mirror is only valuable when something real is standing in front of it. And You were never just a reflection. You were the source. So if you feel this, if you know they've been trying to be you, drop the number 77 in the comments, hit that like button, and let's keep going, because we're about to expose even more. And trust me, it only gets deeper from here. Number 6. They're stalking your moves, but you're already 10 steps ahead. They trace your footsteps like detectives, but you're not leaving breadcrumbs. You're building highways they'll never reach. They lurk in the shadows, watching, waiting, obsessing. They refresh your page like it's their morning newspaper, trying to decipher your next move, hoping to crack the code to your success. They pretend they don't care, but every detail of your life is a case study for them. They analyze your words, copy your style, and steal your strategies, thinking they've unlocked the formula. But here's the reality. They're always late to the trend because you're the one creating it. They don't get it. They don't understand that you are not predictable, you are inevitable. While they're still mapping out your last move, you're already orchestrating something they won't even comprehend until it's too late. You're not just a few steps ahead. You're light years away. They're playing checkers on a dusty board while you're maneuvering pieces on a chessboard they can't even see. Look at history. The greatest minds, the visionaries, the game changers, they were always ahead of their time. While people were trying to understand them, they were already pioneering something new. Steve Jobs didn't wait for people to get the iPhone. He built it while others were still figuring out flip phones. Nikola Tesla had blueprints for the future while his rivals were still stuck in the past. Michael Jordan trained at ungodly hours, doing work his competitors wouldn't even think of until it was too late. And by the time they caught on, he had already rewritten the rules. That's you. That's your power. You move in silence. You evolve in private. You don't announce every step, and that's what confuses them the most. They expect you to play by their rules, but you make the rules. They expect you to react, but you strategize. They expect you to stay where they last saw you, but you left that level long ago. And let's be real, they hate that they can't control the narrative. They hate that no matter how much they watch you, you remain unpredictable. They hate that just when they think they've caught up, you introduce a new version of yourself, one they weren't ready for. That's what chosen ones do. You are a force that refuses to be tracked, a movement that refuses to be contained. They can stalk your every move, but they will never have access to your mind, your vision, your instincts. And that's what burns them the most. They ask themselves, how is it that we watch them so closely, yet we can't anticipate what they'll do next? Because they don't realize you operate on a different frequency. You're not just living in the moment, you're engineering the future. You're not just setting trends, you're defining eras. But let's get deeper. Why are they so obsessed with you? Why do they dedicate so much energy to tracking your every step? Simple. They have no direction of their own. People without vision attach themselves to those who have it. People without purpose monitor those who are walking in theirs. And the irony, they could have spent that time working on themselves. They could have been building, evolving, creating. But instead, they wasted their energy tracking someone they'll never catch. And now, they're exhausted, drained, still running in circles while you keep ascending. They wanted to predict you, but you are unpredictable. They wanted to trap you in the past, but you are limitless. They wanted to compete with you, but you were never playing the same game. So let them watch. Let them take notes. Let them think they're getting close, because by the time they figure out what you did yesterday, you'll be onto something they won't even comprehend for years. Number 7. They want the crown, but they can't carry the weight. A crown isn't just a decoration, it's a responsibility, and weak hands will always drop what strong souls were built to carry. They wanted the throne, but they forgot one thing. Thrones aren't given, they're earned. They saw the power, the influence, the respect that followed you, and thought they could just snatch it for themselves. But what they never realized is that wearing the crown isn't about looking the part. It's about surviving the storms. It's about the battles you fought, the nights you bled, the sacrifices you made when no one was watching. They wanted the rewards, but they never wanted the struggle. And now, the weight is crushing them. They really thought they could skip the pain and still claim the throne. Thought they could fake the confidence, mimic the mindset, and copy the moves. But every time they step into your space, the pressure breaks them. Because greatness isn't a costume you can wear for a night. It's a fire that either refines you or consumes you. And right now, they're burning. Look around. History is full of people who wanted the throne but weren't built for it. Look at the kings who stole power, only to crumble under the pressure. Look at the artists, the leaders, the so-called visionaries who copied the greats but couldn't handle the responsibility. They all had one thing in common. They thought position was more important than preparation. But here's the truth. If you weren't built for the weight will destroy you. And that's exactly what's happening now. They thought having your crown would make them powerful, but power doesn't come from the crown. It comes from the one who wears it. You didn't just wake up one day and step into greatness. You earned it through sweat, through losses, through lessons they will never understand. They wanted to skip the war and still win the kingdom. But what kind of ruler can lead without battle scars? Now, the same throne they fought for is the same one making them miserable. They thought leading would be easy, that sitting at the top would be effortless. But now, every fake move they make is exposed. The pressure is getting to them. Because when you're chosen, your power doesn't come from a title. It comes from the weight you've learned to carry. And they can't even hold it for a second. They see you moving with grace, standing tall under pressure, making it look effortless. But that's because you were forged in fire. You didn't just wake up and become this version of yourself. You went through hell and back, lost people you loved, sacrificed comfort, stood alone when no one believed in you. They mocked you in the process, but now they want the results. But they weren't with you in the struggle, so why should they stand with you in the victory? And here's what they'll never admit. They don't want the crown for the responsibility. They want it for the attention. They crave the status, the admiration, the respect that comes with being you. But they forget, respect isn't handed out, it's earned. And when the weight of real responsibility comes crashing down, they fold. Because a real leader carries the people, carries the vision, carries the purpose. A fraud only carries their own ego. That's why they're struggling now. They thought they were ready, thought they had what it took, thought they could handle what you've been handling for years. But now, they see the truth. The nights you stayed up planning, the stress that nearly broke you, the battles you fought alone, they never wanted any of that. They just wanted the shine. But without the struggle, the shine fades. And now they're realizing they bit off more than they could chew. They wanted the kingdom, but they didn't build the walls. They wanted the title, but they never put in the work. And now, while they sit there, drowning under the weight of what they tried to steal, you're still rising, still walking with confidence, still carrying what they couldn't hold for a day. Because heavy is the head that wears the crown, and it's a good thing it was never theirs to wear. So let them struggle, let them fumble under the weight, let them sit in the mess they created. Because you were built for this. You're not here because of luck. You're not here because someone handed you power. You're here because you endured, because you survived, because you proved that you could carry what others would drop. And that's why no matter how hard they try, they will never be you. Number 8. They underestimated you. Now they fear you. They laughed when you were quiet. Now they tremble when you speak. They thought you were nothing, thought you were just another face in the crowd, just another story that would fade into the background. They dismissed you, doubted you, underestimated you. And why? Because you weren't loud about your power. You weren't out here begging for attention, proving your worth to people who didn't deserve access to you. You were quiet, observing, studying, growing, and they mistook your silence for weakness. Big mistake. See, fools laugh at what they don't understand, and they never understood you. They thought because you weren't flexing, you weren't winning. Because you weren't showing off, you weren't making moves. Because you were humble, you were helpless. They couldn't see the fire building inside you, the storm you were becoming. And now, they're not laughing anymore. They're watching, they're whispering, they're worried. Because something changed. You elevated. You didn't just grow, you transformed. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped dimming your light to make them comfortable. You stopped waiting for permission to step into your power. And the moment you did, the whole game shifted. Now your presence alone shakes the room. Your confidence makes them nervous. Your success makes them insecure. The same people who mocked you, ignored you, bet against you, are now pretending they never doubted you. And the funny part, they don't just want to be you anymore. They fear what you're becoming. Because power, real power, isn't in noise. It's in presence. And you carry something they will never have. Something they can't imitate, can't steal, can't even define. It's your aura, your energy, your spirit. And they feel it now. They feel the shift. Think about every legend who was underestimated before they became untouchable. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. They said Oprah wasn't fit for television. They told Elon Musk he was crazy for believing in Tesla and SpaceX. Look at them now. Not just successful, but so far ahead that their doubters don't even exist in the same conversation. That's you. The people who doubted you, they are your footnotes. Your name is rising, your influence is spreading, and they have no choice but to watch. They fear you now, not because you've changed, but because you became everything they swore you wouldn't. And some of them, they want to crawl back. They want to act like they always believed in you, like they didn't laugh behind your back, like they didn't hope for your downfall. But it's too late. You see through them now, and they know it. That's why they keep their distance. They can't stand next to you without feeling exposed. They can't fake support without you sensing their energy. They can't pretend to be on your level when they know deep down they never were. See, chosen ones don't rise by accident. You were built in the dark. While they were celebrating early, you were working. While they were gossiping, you were growing. While they were sleeping on you, you were waking up to your power. And now? Now they're trying to figure out how the person they looked down on is now too high for them to reach. It's not magic. It's work. It's patience. It's divine favor. They thought they had time, thought they could toy with you, doubt you, block you, outshine you. But time ran out. And now, they're standing in the wreckage of their own arrogance, watching you rise into a league they can't enter. And what's their biggest fear? That you're not even done yet, that you're still climbing, that you're still getting stronger, smarter, more powerful. They thought your elevation was a phase. They don't realize this is just the beginning. So let them fear, let them whisper, let them wonder, let them regret every time they underestimated you. Because you're not looking back. You're too busy stepping into everything they swore you'd never have. Number 9. They chose the shortcut. Now they're running in circles. You took the stairs, they took the elevator, but now the elevator is broken. They thought they were outsmarting you, thought they could bypass the struggle, dodge the lessons, and skip straight to the reward. They watched you grind, sacrifice, and build brick by brick, and instead of learning from you, they laughed. Why take the hard road? They thought. Why put in the work when I can take the shortcut? But what they never realized is that shortcuts don't lead to real destinations, only dead ends. And now they're stuck, running in circles, trapped in a cycle of their own making, chasing quick wins that always slip through their fingers. Because while they were looking for an easy way up, you were mastering the climb. While they were focused on appearing successful, you were becoming unshakable. And now the truth is setting in. They took the elevator, but the foundation was weak, and now it's free-falling. Meanwhile, you're still rising. Look at history. How many people have tried to take shortcuts to success, only to crash and burn? The frauds, the fakes, the ones who wanted the glory but not the grind. Every empire built on shortcuts collapses. Every fake legend fades. Look at those who tried to cut corners. Businessmen who scammed their way to the top. Celebrities who chased fame without talent. People who stole ideas instead of creating their own. Where are they now? Either forgotten, exposed, or stuck trying to clean up the mess they made. That's the part they didn't see coming. They thought skipping the hard part meant getting ahead. They thought they could fake it forever. But life doesn't work like that. You can only pretend for so long before the truth comes knocking. And now? Now they're looking around, lost, confused, wondering why nothing is working for them. Because they don't understand what real success takes. It's not just about getting there, it's about staying there. And that's why they'll never last. They're exhausted, drained, frustrated, constantly searching for the next shortcut, the next scam, the next easy way out. But there isn't one, because nothing real is built overnight. Meanwhile, you're still climbing, stronger than before, because while they were busy cutting corners, you were becoming unstoppable. They didn't see the hours you put in, didn't see the failures you learned from, didn't see the sacrifices that shaped you, and now they can't figure out why they're stuck while you keep winning. And here's the part that haunts them the most. You took the hard road, but now you have skills, wisdom, and power they can never steal. They wanted to skip the struggle, but the struggle was the very thing that made you unbreakable. Now, some of you might be wondering, why does this even matter? Why should you care that these people are stuck while you keep elevating? Because this is your confirmation. That every sacrifice, every late night, every moment of doubt, it was all worth it. The people who laughed at your discipline, who mocked your patience, who said you were taking too long, look at them now, scrambling, stressed, still searching for an exit from the mess they created. They wanted to cheat the process, but the process can't be cheated. They thought they could take your success, but they didn't have the endurance to keep up. And now they're looking up at you, wondering how you did it, while you keep rising, untouchable, unstoppable, undeniable. So let them run in circles, let them chase empty victories, let them struggle with the consequences of their own impatience. Because you took the long road, but you built something that will last forever. Number 10. They wanted your power. Now they're powerless. They played with magic they didn't understand, and now the spell is broken. They wanted the power, but didn't want to pay the price. They wanted the glow, the influence, the respect. But they didn't want to earn it. So they did what weak minds always do. They tried to steal it. They mimicked your moves, whispered behind your back, plotted, schemed, and even tried to turn others against you. But what they didn't realize is that you weren't just some random person to betray. You were divinely chosen. And when you betray someone with divine protection, the consequences hit harder than they ever imagined. They thought your power came from the surface, thought it was something they could wear, copy, or manipulate. But real power isn't something you put on. It's something you become through trials, sacrifices, and battles they wouldn't survive. They wanted the crown without the weight, the fire without the heat, the rewards without the struggle. And now, they're crumbling under the very thing they tried to control. Look around. Where are they now? Those who thought they could take what was meant for you? Where is their influence, their so-called success, their fake confidence? It's gone, drained, dried up. Because stolen power always fades. They wanted to walk in your footsteps, but they forgot that the path was carved by blood, sweat, and sacrifice. They thought they could handle it, but they were never built for this level of pressure. You see, people like this don't want to put in the work. They don't want to spend years sharpening their mind, their soul, their discipline. They want the shortcut. So they attach themselves to the chosen ones, feeding off your energy, stealing bits and pieces, hoping they can manufacture what comes naturally to you. But divine energy isn't transferable. They could sit next to you for years and still never absorb what you have. And now, they're empty, stripped of the illusion they tried to create. And let's be clear, this isn't karma. This is cause and effect. You cannot take what was never yours and expect to flourish. You cannot betray someone with divine purpose and expect to prosper. They tried to play the game, but they didn't realize you were playing on a different level. They thought they were stealing from you, but all they did was rob themselves. History has already written this story. How many times have we seen people try to take what wasn't meant for them, only to watch it slip through their fingers? They thought they were outsmarting you, but they were digging their own graves. Look at the industries, the entertainment world, even history itself. How many frauds have tried to steal from the greats, only to be forgotten? Because you can fake success, but you can't fake destiny. Some of you might be wondering, why did they even try? Why do people who once admired you, who maybe even stood beside you, turn into enemies the moment they realize they'll never be you? Simple. Jealousy is a disease. And when people refuse to grow, they turn bitter watching someone who did. They didn't hate you at first. They loved your energy, your aura, your wisdom. But when they realized they couldn't replicate it, when they saw that no matter how close they stood to the fire, they would never be the fire, that's when the envy turned to destruction. And now, they have nothing left. The people they manipulated, gone. The power they thought they had, evaporated. The influence they tried to steal, they're watching it from a distance because it was never theirs to keep. While you're still standing, still thriving, still moving forward like they never even existed. And that's what eats them alive. Because the worst pain isn't losing something you never had. It's realizing you never had it to begin with. They tricked themselves into believing they were bigger than they were. And now they're waking up to the truth. They were only shining because they stood too close to your light. But here's the best part. This is only the beginning. Because while they're sitting in the wreckage of their own choices, you're on to bigger things. Your power is growing, your influence is expanding, your glow is only getting brighter. And them? They're just another name on the list of people who tried and failed. So let them watch, let them regret, let them sit in the silence of their own downfall, because you were never the one losing, you were the lesson they had to learn the hard way. Number 11, they can't beat you. So now they worship you in secret. They curse your name in front of others, but behind closed doors they whisper it like a prayer. They swore they couldn't stand you. They rolled their eyes at your success, laughed at your struggles, and acted like you were nothing special. But behind the mask, they study your every move like a sacred text. They refresh your pages, dissect your words, and watch your victories with clenched jaws, because deep down they know they can't beat you. And now you've become their silent obsession. See, there's a reason they can't stop talking about you. Love and hate are two sides of the same coin, and you live rent-free in their mind. They spend more time thinking about you than they do about their own growth. Every time you rise, it sends a shockwave through their system, reminding them of their own stagnation. Every time you win, it forces them to acknowledge what they tried so hard to deny: you're untouchable. At first, they thought ignoring you would make you disappear. When that didn't work, they tried to downplay your success. And when that failed, they started imitating you. They mock you in public, but behind closed doors, they mimic your style, steal your phrases, and try to embody what they once ridiculed. They pretend they don't care, yet they track your every move like it's their full-time job. Because deep down, they don't just envy you, they worship you. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone go from being your biggest critic to suddenly adopting your mannerisms, repeating your words, or copying your path? It's because they were never really against you. They were against the fact that you did what they couldn't. You walked in confidence while they doubted themselves. You created while they hesitated. You moved forward while they stayed in the same spot. This is the curse of being chosen. You don't just inspire people, you haunt them. Your existence is a mirror they can't escape. You remind them of what they could be if they had the courage, the discipline, and the fire to become more. But instead of elevating themselves, they choose to resent you, because it's easier to hate what they can't replicate than to admit that they need to grow. Look at history. Muhammad Ali had doubters who called him arrogant, but the same people who mocked him eventually quoted him. Steve Jobs was called crazy, difficult, and unrealistic. Yet the very ones who dismissed him now stand in line for every new iPhone. They mocked Picasso, saying his art was foolish, and now his name is synonymous with genius. Do you see the pattern? First, they ignore you. Then, they attack you. Then they try to replace you. And finally, they imitate you. So if you feel like you've been the target of unnecessary hate, understand this: it was never about you. It was about what you represent. You are proof that greatness is possible. You are evidence that excuses are worthless. And that truth, it eats them alive. They can't admit it out loud, but they know. They see the way people respect you. They notice how your name carries weight. They know that while they were wasting time gossiping about you, you were building something real. And now, they regret it. They regret doubting you. They regret not aligning with you when they had the chance. They regret choosing jealousy over growth. But their pride won't let them confess. So instead, they worship you in silence. They scroll through your success, hoping to find flaws. They whisper about your achievements when they think no one is listening. They act like they don't care, but they never miss an update. And when no one's around, they try to figure out how you did it, how you moved forward despite their doubts, how you succeeded despite their resistance, how you became unstoppable despite the roadblocks. Here's the truth. You were never just their competition. You were their awakening, and that's why they can't let you go. You forced them to look at themselves, to see their own wasted potential, to face the truth they tried to avoid. And now, they live in quiet admiration, too ashamed to admit they were wrong. So let them watch, let them study you, let them pretend they don't see you while secretly taking notes. Because while they're stuck in a cycle of envy, you're too busy writing your next chapter. While they linger in the past, you're already shaping the future. While they're trying to figure you out, you're evolving into someone even greater. And that's why they'll never catch up. That's why they'll never beat you. Because while they were busy hating, you were busy becoming. And now, you don't even need their validation because your success is already the proof. Number 12, you're too far ahead and they'll never catch up. You can't chase what was never meant for you, and by the time they think they've caught up, you've already disappeared over the horizon. They ran after you, studied you, tracked your every move, thinking they could match your pace, thinking they could step where you stepped, thinking they could somehow walk in shoes that were never their size. But now they're out of breath, lost, exhausted, stuck in the very dust you left behind. Because the truth is, they were never built for this race. They thought they could compete, but you're not even running in the same lane. They thought they were being smart, watching you, imitating you, taking shortcuts to get ahead, but they didn't realize you were already playing a different game. While they were plotting against you, you were mastering your craft. While they were obsessed with your every move, you were evolving into something even greater. While they were looking sideways, comparing, competing, trying to copy your glow, you were already on the next level, building something legendary. And now, they can't even see you anymore. That's the thing about being chosen. You don't stay in one place for long. You grow, you shift, you expand, you ascend. You don't compete with people. You compete with your past self. And every single day, you're outdoing the version of you that existed yesterday. That's why they will never catch up. Because while they're busy chasing your old steps, you've already created a whole new path. Look at history. Look at the greats. Michael Jordan, Elon Musk, Serena Williams, Steve Jobs. All people who created legacies so powerful that their imitators never even came close. They weren't looking to be better than the competition. They were too busy becoming the best version of themselves. And that's exactly why no one could ever match their impact. Some of you might be asking, why do they keep trying? Why won't they just give up and focus on their own path? Simple, because their ego won't let them accept the truth. They told themselves for so long that they were just as good as you, that they could do it too, that they could replace you. But now, reality is slapping them in the face, and the truth they refuse to admit is this: they were never your equal. They were never built like you. They were never chosen. That's why they're struggling. That's why they're bitter. That's why they hate to see you winning, because every time you rise higher, it confirms what they fear the most. They never had what it takes. And the worst part for them? You don't even care. You don't think about them. You're not watching them. You're not wasting a second worrying about what they're doing, because you don't move backwards. You don't slow down for people who refuse to grow. And you sure as hell don't entertain those who tried to keep you small. They thought they had time, thought they could delay you, distract you, discourage you, but you kept pushing forward. They thought you would come back down, that you would need them, that you would fold under pressure, but you only got stronger. And now they're looking up at you from a distance, realizing they played themselves. Because they're chasing your ghost while you're creating a legacy. So let them try. Let them waste their time. Let them keep watching, keep lurking, keep hoping you'll fall so they can somehow catch up. Because the reality is, they'll never touch what you've built. They didn't understand it before, but they're understanding it now. You were never in their league. You were never meant to fit in with them. You were never meant to be just one of the many. You were always one of one, and now they have to live with that realization for the rest of their lives. So, chosen one, listen to me. Some people spend their whole lives trying to be someone else, while the chosen ones are busy becoming legends. They can watch, they can mimic, they can try to rewrite history, but they'll never be part of your future. They weren't built like you, they weren't meant for this journey, and now they're stuck in the shadows of the path you carved. So let them try, let them chase, let them dream, because while they waste time pretending, you're out here becoming. If this hit your soul, drop the number 77 in the comments, smash that like button, and let them know being you is a full-time job, and they're unemployed.